Hey there, fellow Patriots. Welcome back to Patriots of the American Republic. This is episode number 70, and let's jump into it, right? So normally I put together like a small monologue going over like the main topic, what we'll be discussing in the video, in the current video that we're doing. But today's video, I'm at a loss for words. We have two alpha males between President Trump and Elon Musk, and I'm sure most of you have already heard about the feud and what's been going on and so on and so forth. We went from these two guys praising one another to these guys throwing punches at one another publicly over their social media outlets. In this video, we're going to try and navigate through how this all got started, where it's been going, and where it's currently at right now, right? So a few weeks back, I read that Elon wasn't happy with the big, beautiful bill and began to criticize it. As the bill pushed forward, the criticism became a little bit louder until, eventually Elon just went off the rails. So in an interview, President Trump was asked about Elon's outcry towards the bill. Let's take a listen.
But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars. And it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have we want to be able to sell everything. And when that was cut, and Congress wanted to cut it, he became a little bit different. And I can understand that. But he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody. And he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape, he said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
So if this is true, I'm confused, because I remember Trump saying on the campaign trail that he was going to get rid of the EV mandate. So I'm not sure why Elon would have a problem, or that would be a surprise to him, first of all. Like, he said it, unless maybe Elon didn't hear it, or he wasn't paying attention, or maybe he just thought he was bluffing. I don't know. But I do vividly remember Trump saying that he would gut that mandate bill, because remember, that was a Biden mandate, right?
So we have a president who is destroying our country. We have a president who wants all electric cars in a very quick start. He wants to have all electric cars. Everything has to be electric. And by 2030, that's in 6 years from now. And you know what? Electric cars are fine. They have a problem. They don't go far. They cost a lot to buy. And they're all made in China. Other than that, I think they're wonderful, right? And I'm going to end that mandate on day one when I get to office.
So after this statement, President Trump, Elon took to X and wrote the following. Check this out.
Whatever. Keep the EV/solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched, which is very unfair, but ditch the mountain of disgusting pork in the bill. In the entire history of legislation, there has never been legislation that is both big and beautiful. Everyone knows this. Either you get a big and ugly bill or a slim and beautiful bill. Slim and beautiful is the way.
Now, I can totally understand Elon's frustration regarding what he's done with Doge and how he feels President Trump's bill will essentially undo either everything or a good portion of what he's done. Like, I don't have a problem with him voicing this concern, but where I do have a problem is how he reacted and essentially went overboard regarding his disrespect towards the president. I mean, during one of Elon's several posts, Elon seems to think that Trump won the election because of him. Let's check this one out.
I mean, this is kind of a full-blown implosion. Things were going so well, and now, well, Elon is just going on a rampage. He starts off by saying that without him, Donald Trump would have never even won the election. He's saying there's a lack of gratitude.
I understand why Elon may think this, because acquiring Twitter and changing the game so that Twitter would no longer be able to censor the right was big. And it was helpful towards Trump's reelection. That's true. I think we can all agree that, and even some on the left have admitted that how burying Hunter Biden's laptop story impacted Trump's campaign in 2020. And it also impacted Biden's campaign in 2024 once the truth came out and it was confirmed that this was Hunter's laptop. After we were told that it was Russian disinformation by the media and the quote-unquote intelligence community. So in some way, yes, Elon did positively assist Trump, but it wasn't on Elon's back that Trump won. Trump's lead against Biden during that time was already mountains apart in political terms, right? So, but unfortunately, Elon has gone to indirectly call Trump a pedophile and trying to link him to Epstein. And this is where, in my opinion, he goes overboard.
Then comes the pinnacle. Elon Musk then posted this: time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, and that is the real reason that they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump.
That was vindictive. That really was. And I don't even know what to say at this point. You're really going to indirectly call President Trump a pedophile simply for either cutting the EV mandate or not being able to get all the cuts that you recommended through? Is that really what we're doing? I mean, this is beyond normal, and it makes me question his state of mind. I mean, is he bipolar? Is there something going on? Because, I mean, he went from Trump was right about everything to Trump's on the Epstein list really quickly. And there's three things that just don't make sense to me here, right? So there's three things that I want to point out. So if there was any chance of this being true, of this accusation being true, do you really think that Elon would be allowing Trump around his kid? Do you really think that X would be allowed to hang out with Trump and Trump would carry him and talk to him, even if Elon was present? As a parent, I know I wouldn't even want to be in the room with someone who did something of that magnitude, right? Secondly, Elon was okay with this information and only objected to it simply because he was essentially rejected. Meaning, so if that's true about Epstein Island, it didn't bother you while you were working for him. Because if that's true, let me tell you, I wouldn't want to work for anybody. I don't care who the heck it is. Right? So I'm questioning where Elon's coming from, and I'm not following his trajectory regarding this course of action. Final point is, if this was true, don't you think the Democrats would have revealed this information about Trump during the 2024 campaign trail in order to further discredit him? I mean, they did just about everything they could to stop Trump from winning. If there was any truth to this claim, the Democrats wouldn't have hesitated to use it, and they never did. So that leads me to believe this is all baloney coming from Elon Musk. And it's sad and it's very unfortunate. Now, this insane move by Elon has caused Epstein's former defense attorney to speak out about this claim. Let's check this out. This is wild.
All right, folks, so take a look at this on screen. Epstein's own lawyer, David Schoen, who was hired to defend Epstein 9 days before he died, well, he said this, quote, I was hired to lead Jeffrey Epstein's defense as his criminal lawyer 9 days before he died, and he sought my advice for months before that. I can say authoritatively, unequivocally, definitively that he had no information to hurt President Trump. I specifically asked him. Then in response to Roger Stone, who wrote that Donald Trump is not in the Epstein files, here are the facts, David Schoen responded, I could tell you unequivocally as someone who would know that President Trump never did anything wrong with Jeffrey Epstein. So according to Epstein's own lawyer, he specifically asked and Epstein had supposedly no information on Donald Trump. So far, evidence tying Donald Trump to any of Epstein's nefarious activities, well, nothing, nada.
So as this feud continued to spiral, it seems that either Elon has calmed down, he's untwisted his panties, if you will, or he has been essentially talked off the ledge because, it's reported that he deleted the Epstein comment just recently. And it's also reported that he's okay with opening the lines of communication again with President Trump.
For his part, Musk appears open to mending relations. Last night, he reversed his decision to decommission the Dragon spacecraft. And he replied, "You're not wrong," to a post by fellow billionaire Bill Ackman, who wrote the two men should make peace for the benefit of our great country.
Now, unfortunately for Elon, and understandably, so given the magnitude of what was said, President Trump has absolutely no interest in talking to Elon at this current moment. I think once you betray President Trump, my wife has this quote, and she says, when she's been betrayed, you're buried, you're in the grave, right? You're done. And I think that's where Elon's at right now with President Trump. I think Elon's in the grave when it comes to President Trump.
Looks like we're not getting that big, beautiful truce. Well, not yet, at least. President Trump telling Bret Baier today that he is not interested in talking to Elon Musk and that, quote, Elon's totally lost it. And like any breakup, he's giving his stuff back. President Trump is thinking about selling the Tesla he purchased back when he was trying to help promote Elon Musk's company. It has been parked for 3 months at the White House. However, the commander-in-chief was taking calls this morning, just not from Elon. Watch.
You call the president on his cell phone at 6:45, he picks up. He said Elon wants to talk to him. He's not ready to talk to Musk, who he called a man who has lost his mind.
Someone who just got off the phone with the president. CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash joins us now by phone. Dana, what did he tell you?
Good morning, John. Well, he said that he's, quote, well, here's exactly what he said, quote, "I'm not even thinking about Elon. He's got a problem. The poor guy's got a problem." He said he won't be speaking to him for a while, but he said he wishes Elon Musk well.
So in this video, they mentioned Trump purchasing the Tesla just a few months ago. We covered how the left was attacking, Tesla dealerships and Tesla owners because of Elon. So the left called for the downfall. They essentially tried to boycott Tesla as a company, as a whole, right? They just wanted to, boycott the entire company. So in order to support Elon, Trump went out and bought a Tesla, and the Republican base gathered around Elon. And after a short market dip, Tesla bounced back and the stock grew higher, right? So now, due to Elon's tantrum, Tesla stock seems to be going down once again.
That's right. I mean, we're seeing this feud take place very publicly. We're also seeing a play-by-play of it play out on Wall Street. So Tesla stock sank 14% yesterday, its biggest one-day drop since 2020.
Now, here's the expected propaganda from the leftist media. I mean, this is the norm, and it would be kind of weird if they didn't do this at this point. So it's expected that they would do propaganda, fear-mongering, right?
I think this is bad for Musk. If you look at the history around the world of authoritarians breaking up with their oligarch buddies, those oligarch buddies don't end up in a good place. They either end up impoverished, imprisoned, or dead. I'm not saying that that's going to happen to Elon Musk here, but the power is with the government. You saw Donald Trump immediately say, all right, we're going to take away your, contracts. We're going to, punish you and retaliate. And he has the power to do that. We've seen Donald Trump exercise that power.
So did you notice how she said it's probably not going to happen regarding all of the details regarding what Trump would do to or could do to Elon? It's probably not going to happen. So then why is she even bringing it up? Because it's to fearmonger the audience. It's to trigger an emotional response in their audience and affirm what they've been doing for about a decade now by calling Trump Hitler and being a dictator and so on and so forth, right? Also, did you notice how she twisted the details? We're arguing, so I'm going to take away your contract, right? That's essentially what's going on. That's the claim being made here, because Trump and Elon are arguing, so Trump is taking away his contracts in retaliation. I don't know if I'm missing something, but didn't the issue start because the mandate termination was done first? Like, isn't that what initiated this spat, was that Trump was going to terminate that mandate, right? So is it that, I mean, again, either I'm missing something, or this lady's twisting things in order to make Trump, as usual, look like the bad guy. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. But I was under the impression, based on everything that I've seen and the videos that I've even shown, that this kind of started. This was like the start, right? This is what ignited the issue, right? Anyhow, the internet is an interesting place. The amounts of conspiracies that are out there are just through the roof. So many people think that this isn't real and that, you know, they're just trolling the left. They're in on this together. There's a partnership to troll the left. They're playing 4D chess. Bunch of stuff that I'm seeing out there. This is just me. I sincerely don't think, you know, any of that is true. I think that this is real, that this is happening, that this is an actual rift, but only time will tell, right? For the moment, this looks very real. To me, the Epstein post was massively big and hurtful. If I'm Trump and somebody says that about me, like I said, to quote my wife, they're going to be buried, right? If someone accused me of something of that sort, I don't think I'd ever talk to them again, to be quite frank. Now, does that mean that Trump won't ever forgive Elon? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But it'll definitely take some time because Trump is big on loyalty, and this was a huge backstabbing. But here is a former employee, if you will, of Elon Musk, I guess, or underneath. He works in the Doge system, and he was, you know, reporting to Elon. This is what he has to say about this particular scenario.
A lot of folks in the media, on social media as well, speculating that this whole thing, the whole feud, is a fake. Some kind of red herring or a ruse to distract people from, I guess, you know, whatever other problems they perceive there to be in Washington, which there are many. It's real, right? You can confirm that this is a real spat. It is not staged.
This is not staged. I wish it were fake. I wish Elon didn't spaz out at the president of the United States with baseless attacks. I wish he would have aired out his perhaps legitimate grievances. I disagree with them about the big, beautiful bill.
So, in the end, although Elon's passion for gutting fraud and government spending, which I'm all for, right? I've been saying it for years. There's just way too much government spending. Obviously, fraud goes on, and it shouldn't be allowed. It should be stopped, right? I think everybody knows that there's a lot of fraud that happens, and that's not acceptable. However, his reaction in this situation was uncalled for, unprofessional, overboard, arguably psychotic, in my opinion, because no normal person would do that. At least I don't think so. And at the end of the day, we the people elected Donald Trump, not Elon Musk. And if you look at the record, and according to Elon's own hack, Trump was right about everything. So guess what? You're being brought in by Trump. You're the subordinate. You gotta support the president, man. And at the end of the day, I get the passion. Again, I get what he wants, and I want it too. But you don't go the route that he went down.
Well, I know a lot of Republicans want there to be a phone call between the president and Elon Musk. I don't think there should be. There should have been a phone call yesterday. If you have a disagreement with one of the president's policy priorities, you call him on the phone and you make the best argument. You don't resort to baseless personal attacks. And so I thank Elon for being a part of this movement, but I got to tell you the truth. President Trump won 80 million votes, the popular vote, the electoral vote, all 7 swing states, because of himself and his leadership and his policy priorities. Border crossings are down 99%, not because of Elon Musk, but because of President Trump. We created 140,000 jobs last month, all of which were in the private sector, not because of Elon Musk, but because of President Trump. And President Trump is delivering, as we saw yesterday with this conversation with Xi Jinping, a breakthrough trade deal between the U.S. and China.
The only difference between Friday and today is Elon went back to his companies, and as a businessman, he has a right to speak for his companies. But as president, President Trump has a responsibility to fight for this country.
You know, I give my kudos to the president. Usually the president, when he gets punched, like I said, he punches hard. He punches back, and he punches back hard. In this particular case, President Trump has refrained himself from, going toe-to-toe and you know, coming after Elon Musk personally. So it's really interesting to see this. I don't think Elon, he considers Elon an enemy like he does like with some of his other political opponents that he has no problem going after. But the refrain that the president has shown, he's been asked about Elon, and he switches gears. He switches the conversation to talk about the economy, to talk about how things are progressing, and so on and so forth. You know, he does acknowledge that, you know, Elon is not right, a little bit out of his mind, but he wished him well in one interview that I saw.
What's your view on Elon Musk as of today? I mean, have you heard from him at all? Is your team?
Honestly, I've been so busy working on China, working on Russia, working on Iran, working on so many. I'm not thinking about Elon. You know, I just wish him well.
But again, he's focused on delivering his promises, and I think that's really interesting, and it shows a lot in my view. I was expecting Trump to come back and hit him harder, but kudos to the president for showing that restraint. And shame on Elon Musk, and I hope Elon Musk can really just, I don't know, man, just take a chill pill, you know, relax, dude. At the end of the day, we all want what's best for this country, right? So guys, that's it for my video today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining in. God bless Donald Trump. God bless America. God bless you guys as well. Take care. See you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.